7. So it's Nyman.
And this is Jazz Club. John Fedchock Band there, New York big band trombonist John Fedchock, and that track was called Up and Running, and that's from his album called Up and Running. What I tend to do sometimes, I guess, is when I go online to download a lot of these tracks that I play for you, I've been of the opinion that generally, the first track on an album is what they really want to sort of hit people with first, and often it's also the title track of the album, and that's basically the case with that, and quite a number of other tracks that I've played for you guys before. And that's a fantastic album there from John Fedchock. I'm trying to think of the name of the thinklet. Let me think. Or at least I know that the tenor saxophone player was for sure Rich Perry. And the other guys will come to me in a short while, I'm sure. Especially the trumpet player, who was really fantastic. And I've got his name. It's almost on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, so let's get on with today's show. I've got a whole heap of fantastic music to play for you. Very eclectic mix as usual. Lots of straight ahead jazz, lots of big band jazz, and I think I might have squeezed some funky stuff in there for you as well. Now, if you might be aware that today is a school strike for all the teachers. We just passed a whole heap of teachers on the way into the studio, gave them a bit of a toot, and hope they're all going to get what they want out of the situation. Also, of course, I have my two children with me today, Tom and Olivia. They're sitting there back in the waiting area. And they're quite busy with their iPads at the moment. And very shortly, once we get into the program a little bit, I did promise them that, because I had to drag them up here with me, of course, that they would be able to make a little appearance on the television radio show. And Olivia has even kindly said that she's going to actually sing a little song for us as well. So we'll get her up for doing that. I'll have to build her up for it, I'm sure, but she's looking forward to doing that for you guys. So anyway, that was a track called Up and Running by John Fedchock. Now here's another track from him, and after that I'm going to go into John Coltrane. The next track, actually, you'll probably recognise it's a theme tune from a very well-known cartoon series. Have a listen to this. It's the John Coltrane Quartet there with Bessie's Blues, and before that you heard John Fedchock New York Big Band playing the theme from the Flintstones, otherwise known with the John Fedchock Band as Flintstoned. Yep, really excellent album, and do check John Fedchock out if you have time. He's a fantastic big band arranger. He was over in New Zealand a while back, a few years ago, and he's a super guy, super trombone player, and it always has a most magnificent big band. And obviously the John Coltrane Quartet, I probably don't need to tell you too much about them. McCoy Tyner, Elvin Jones, and Jimmy Garrison there on bass. Fantastic. Okay, I've got some other tracks coming up pretty soon. And just to remind you, if you're out there and you're thinking about, I'm going to do the weekend at the end of August and the beginning of September. Well, I tell you what, why don't you go to the Martinborough Jazz Festival? I've just been liaising with Lee and Ted there about setting some other concerts up during the course of the proceedings, and we're doing one over at Kuranui College, actually, with the band that I'm bringing up from the New Zealand School of Music, which is going to be called Intuition, and we're setting up a gig there over there on the, I think it's on the Saturday, for I think it's about 130 year 7 and 8 school children coming over there to listen to some jazz, and we're going to give it to them right between the eyes. Should be good fun. And so anyway, what have I got coming up next? Yes, I've got Herbie Hancock, and this is from his album called New Standards. It's called You've Got a Bad Girl, and I'm going to follow that with a track from Keith Jarrett, and it's going to be called Struggle from the Open, and that's a live track. Anyway, so this is Herbie Hancock with You've Got a Bad Girl. So it's Keith Jarrett trio there with Gary Peacock on bass and Jack DeJohnette on drums. One of the longest established trios, I think, performing worldwide. Probably being at it for at least about 30 years, I think, if not a bit longer than that. And that was from their album called After the Fall, and that was the old Charlie Parker Charlie Parker tune called Scrabble from the Apple. And what did you have before that? Yes, you heard Herbie Hancock there from the album New Standards with You've Got It, Bad Girl. Yep, and Michael Brecker, obviously, on tenor saxophone. And, yep, fantastic track, fantastic album, really love it. I've got just sort of regarding a little bit of news out there, and I think I might have mentioned it last week, but Dr. Roger Fox has managed to scoop two wonderful players coming over from the States in October. One of them being the legendary Steve Gadd on drums, and I know Roger's been trying for about 11 years to get Steve over, and he's finally managed it. It's fantastic. And not only that, he's managed to get James Carter as well, one of the most prolific saxophone players out there at the moment, and a powerhouse of a player. And I'm sure if you get the chance to see Roger with a big band and those two guys, you are going to absolutely love it. Please support it if you can. And I've got a couple of tracks here from James Carter just to give you a taste of what this man is up to. And this first track is actually called Parker's Mood, a Charlie Parker theme today, obviously. Not that I meant it to be, but it seems that there is. It's a track called Parker's Mood, and then to top it off, we've got Lester Loops In. So that's the sort of thing you can expect from James Carter when he's over in October. He's a very a flamboyant saxophone player. If I don't know if that's the right word, but he certainly squeezes every last bit of life out of the horns that he's playing. That's for sure. He's got an incredible. I guess you'd call it like almost like a vocal quality to his sound, and he really. As I say, I mean, if you actually see the guy playing, it's like the horn's going to fall apart in his hands at some point because there's so much energy going through it. He's a really big guy as well, and he plays that way, and it's fantastic, and I really enjoy listening to him. And that particular track there, you heard him with Lester Bentley, who was unfortunately no longer with us. I seem to be saying that quite often about so many jazz musicians, but it's a fact of life, isn't it? They pass on, and I actually bumped into. In fact, I played with Lester back in about 1970, 77, 78. Down in Bristol in the UK. Just bumped into him at a free jazz workshop performance, and got to play with him there, and a really, really nice guy. And also on that first track you heard was Parker's Mood. That was with Hamiet Blewett on alto sax as well. And as I say, two sort of fairly standard tracks there. The Lester Leaps In was, of course, for those jazz aficionados amongst you will also know that that's actually written over the changes of I've Got Rhythm, or otherwise known as Rhythm Changes. 32 bar form, A-L-B-A. Yes, so enough of the jazz education. I've got a few more tracks coming up for you now. And so please, just while I'm on the subject of fabulous guys coming over here, please do, if you can, get to the Martinborough Jazz Festival. It's coming up 31st of August, 1st September, 2nd of September. That particular weekend will be chock-a-block with lots and lots of wonderful players from all over New Zealand. And Lee and Ted have done a fantastic job getting those guys all down there. Some guys coming down from Auckland. And it's going to be a really, really cool time. And some great venues there to play in. The main stage will be at the Village Cafe, which if you've been there, you'll know is a rather expansive place. And not expensive, and they're suited to great gigs, and there'll be quite a few of them going in there. And also, I believe the Town Hall as well. I think Roger Fox is playing there, and yes, Funk Bone Experience. And of course, the theme this year is Women in Jazz, and that's a wonderful thing to celebrate. Right now, then, coming up, I have Joey DeFrancesco, marvellous organ player, and then I've got a couple of tracks from the Michel on the big band theme. I've got the Michel Camilo big band and a couple of tracks from him as well. But let's start off with Joey DeFrancesco, and this is Twisted Blues. So that was the Michel Camilo band there, and that was called a track called Why Not, and before that was another track called Just Kidding, and before that I'll just throw that down there. As you can see, for those people at home that are actually watching this on the television, you will notice that next to me in the studio I have two little reprobates that I managed to find that they were out on the street, and I pulled them in and I said, would you like to come and do a little bit of my show with me? And they said...
Yes.
Good, that's what I want to see. And right next to me here, this is Olivia, and she's my daughter.
And I'm Tom.
And that's Tom, he's my son. How old are you, Tom?
6 and 3/4.
And Olivia, how old are you?
9.
Olivia's 9. Now, and what schools do you go to?
Greyhound School, and I have glasses. And I go to Hello.
And you don't wear glasses, do you?
No, I don't wear glasses.
Olivia doesn't wear glasses. Now, as I mentioned to you before, the reason why these guys are with me today is because the schools are having a what? Teachers strike, aren't they? Yeah, so you guys have to be here, don't you, in the studio with me today, all right? But and Olivia did say that she was going to sing a song for me, and I wonder if she's changed her mind about that, or would she like to just sing a little bit of it, do you think? Yeah? I think you might like to. Okay, all right. I'm going to put the microphone near you, and then you can just sing, all right?
I've been staring at the edge of the water long as I can remember, never really knowing why. I wish that I could be the perfect daughter, but I come back to the water no matter how hard I try. There you go.
Wow. That was beautiful, darling. That was really lovely. And you remind me of the other vibrato, a little bit of Courtney Ryder, who was in here around that. I think you were in the studio at the time, weren't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was the name of that track called you just sang?
How Far I'll Go.
How Far I'll Go, yes. And that was and of course you know a lot more of it than that, don't you? Yes? Yes. Tom, what are you doing waving at the camera? Did you want to sing a song as well, Tom?
No.
Pardon?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Are you really? You don't want to sing that Spider-Man one? No, it doesn't look like he wants to sing the Spider-Man song.
But I like cute things.
Yeah, he does like cute things. He likes his dad, don't you, Tom?
And my mum and everybody.
And everybody. Well, that's wonderful stuff. And it's really nice to have you guys. Now, tell me, Tom and Olivia, when did you first develop a passion for jazz?
Jazz club 2 seconds ago.
Fair enough. All right. It reminds me of when Olivia was born, and people 2 seconds ago. Thank you, Tom. People said to me at the time, "Oh, look at her lovely long fingers. I bet she's. Well, what instrument is she going to play?" And I said, "Well, I know I'm a musician, but it doesn't necessarily mean that my daughter would be. I thought maybe if I was a plasterer, maybe they might ask me what sort of hodge she was going to be carrying in future, because she had lovely, long, strong arms." Anyway, so as it happens, Olivia has played a few instruments, haven't you, darling?
Yes.
What have you played so far?
Played drums.
And what else? Anything else?
And at one time, I did try to play for flute.
You did. You didn't get on too well with that, did you?
No, because it was hard.
Yes, it must have been because you had the most impatient teacher in the world, and that's me. Anyway, but listen, guys, it's lovely to have you in the studio here. I'm going to play some more music now, and I'm going to carry on with, this is a chap called Tim Warfield. It's a trumpet player there, Terrell Stafford, that's correct. And from his album, that was Adio, the album is called Centripetal Force. And before that, I had a guy called Tim Warfield there, saxophone, and that track was called Adonis. And I won't go to, if I click on it, it's going to play again, so I'm not going to do that. And anyway, that was a fantastic. Real kind of like, that's kind of like where contemporary jazz is at the moment, I guess, to a certain extent. I'm not saying that's all there is out there, but it's sort of very, current modern sort of bits going on within the jazz world, and some wonderful playing as well. Some guys are digging back into traditional roots jazz to fit the improvisations, and I love it. So it's been it's going to be a great month for jazz up here in the Wairarapa. Lots of things going on at the Martinborough Jazz Festival, and lots of things going on here at the studio because Arrow FM studios are moving. You have no doubt heard about this. I'll just reiterate, just in case you haven't. And we are moving to number 5 Church Street here in Masterson, and it's going to be really wonderful. The studios are very, they're big. They're very comfortable. It's a dedicated media hub, and I think great things are in store for the RFM, and I very much look forward to being a part of it over the next, who knows how long, 10 years, 20 years, who knows. I'll probably be coming in with a Zimmer frame, presenting Jazz Club for all you folk out there. No doubt I'll be playing some old stuff, because that's probably, it's probably what it's going to sound like in about 20 years' time. All this modern stuff won't sound so modern anymore. Anyway, what have we got? I've got a lot of different stuff coming up, actually, and I don't have an awful lot more time to play it. Do you know what I haven't had today? I haven't played any vocals, and I'm going to rectify that problem right now.
Summer night, the clouds were like an alabaster palace rising to a snowy height. Each star its own aurora borealis. Suddenly you held me tight, and I could see the midnight sun. It's the silver ring that found me. Was that a moonlit veil? The music of the universe around me. Was that a nightingale? And then your arms miraculously found me. Suddenly the sky turned pale, and I could see the midnight sun. Was there ever such a night? It's a thrill I still don't After you were gone, there was still some stardust on my sleeve. The flame of it may dwindle to an ember, and the stars forget to shine, and we may see a meadow in December, icy white and crystalline. But oh, my darling, always I'll December when your lips were close to mine and we saw the moonlight sun. The flame up in me twinkled like an ember, and the stars forget to shine. And they see a little in December, I see white and crystalline. But oh, my darling, always I'll remember when your lips were close to mine and we saw the midnight sun. We saw the midnight sun. We saw the midnight sun. Oh, oh. Be-ba-doo, be-ba-doo, baby, yeah, ba-ba-doo, baby. Oh, baby, ba-ba-doo, yeah, ba-ba-doo, ba-ba-doo, be-ba-doo, be-a-doo, be-oh. I can see the midnight sun, yeah. Yeah. What a weekend! Ooh, oh, 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 hey. La 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 la, oh, but yeah, 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 Let me give you something I wanna do.
Out of the tree of life, I just picked me a plum. You came along and everything started to hum. Still, it's a real good bet, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? You think you've seen the sun, but you ain't seen it shine. Wait till the warm-up Sunday, wait till our lips are met. Wait till you've seen that sunshine day. You ain't seen nothing yet. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come, come the day you're mine, come the day you're mine. I'm gonna teach you to fly. We've only tasted the wine, we're gonna drain the cup dry. Wait till your charms are ripe for these arms to surround. You think you've flown before, but you ain't left the ground. Wait till you're locked in my embrace. Wait till I draw you near. Wait till you see that sunshine place. Ain't nothing like it here. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet come the day you're mine. Come the day you're mine. Wait till your times are right for these arms to surround. You think you've flown before, but you ain't left the ground. Wait till you're locked in my embrace. Wait till I draw you near. Wait till you see that sunshine place. Ain't nothing like it here. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come, come the day you're mine. Come the day you're mine.
Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. When you're passing by, flowers droop inside, and I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. I don't buy sugar. You just have to touch my cup. You're my sugar. It's sweet when you stir it up. When I'm taking sips from your tasty lips, it's the honey fair that drips. Your conviction goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. When you're passing by, flowers droop inside, and I know the reason why. You're my sweeter, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. Don't buy a sugar, you boo sugar. If you touch my cup, you're my sugar, and it's sweet, so sweet when you stir it up. When I'm taking sips from your tasty lips, seems the honey fairly drips. Your conviction, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. With jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. When you're passing by, flowers droop inside, and I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. Don't buy sugar. Get sugar, you have to touch my cup. You're my sugar, and it's sweet when you stir it, get up. When I'm taking sips from your tasty lips, seems the honey fairly drips. Your confection, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. Honeysuckle. Honeysuckle rose.
That was a wonderful Jane Monheit there on piano, and Lewis Nash on drums, Jeffrey Keezer on piano, and Christian McBride on double bass. And Christian, as you know, was here for the Wellington Jazz Festival. And before that was Stacey Kent, and before her was Diane Reeves, one of my favourite vocalists. And if you've been listening to my jazz show for the last 15 weeks or so, you will know that she is very much one of my all-time favourite vocalists. I absolutely adore her singing. And so that's the vocals over for today. And now, look, listen, I was thinking the other night, and I was sort of flicking through and making up the playlist for this week, and I was thinking about what sort of things are there out there that maybe we get so used to listening to them we don't really think of them as being jazz anymore. And I had it came to me almost out of the blue, and actually maybe I should say out of the pink, because it's a very, very, very famous track, and actually involves a film with one of my all-time favourite actors, actually, Peter Sellers. Of course, if I mention his name, you're probably thinking Inspector Clouseau. And if you're thinking Inspector Clouseau, you're probably thinking the Pink Panther. And this is, in fact, that very track. That was the original Pink Panther theme, played by written by and played by Henry Mancini and his orchestra. And if you're not sure or you don't know who the saxophone player on the original track was, it's a guy called Plas Johnson. And I guess to most people that don't really know much about jazz, that won't come as a sort of a famous name. And indeed, he isn't a famous saxophone player. And I guess he's mostly famous for playing the original Pink Panther theme. And that particular sound that he got was due to a kind of very sort of, I guess you might call it an idiosyncratic setup that he had, which was a very wide-tipped Berg Larsen mouthpiece. This is one for all you jazz aficionados out there, saxophone players. With a baritone saxophone reed on it. It's going to kind of that sort of really kind of full, thick, lush sound that he had. And he was, so I've seen the guy play on numerous occasions, and sort of courtesy of YouTube. the way Hiddy plays that track is very, very much, it's been imitated by a lot of people, and they never ever quite seem to nail it properly. They always sort of, where he goes, da da dee da dee 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 dee, that particular bit, dee dee, he does that with a lip slur and not a fingering. And a lot of guys play it as a fingering, and it's wrong because it isn't like that. It's a lip slur that he uses, and boy does he did play that remarkably well. And there's nothing quite like Plas Johnson playing the Pink Panther theme. So as I say, it's one of those tracks that gets played so often that people forget that really is, it is about jazz, it's about improvisation, and there's lots of things in there that are absolutely wonderful. So I've got about another, not too long actually, I've got another 5 or 6 minutes to play, and I'm just trying to look through my little thing here, and I am going to play this show out this week. I will be back next week, of course, from new premises. Actually, the whole thing goes live on next Wednesday, and that will mean that I'll be doing my show live from the very new studios, 5 Church Street, and boy, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a huge amount of fun. I know everybody's excited about the move, and as I say, it was when we found out that this building was going to be demolished to put up something else, there's a bit of a grey cloud. But as we all know, grey clouds often have silver linings, and this, in fact, is now a track from John Scofield and Pat Metheny called Everybody's Putty. So I'm just going to wish you guys a very happy week ahead, and say once again, it's always a pleasure to bring this wonderful music to you. And as I said, next week I'm going to be coming to you from the new studio, so Wednesday 12:30. It will be wonderful to have your company, and I look forward to seeing you again, hopefully in a